Hey everybody, and welcome to the World Labyrinth Day 2018 summary. Thank you for joining us. We are here on the Zoom webinar platform and also streaming live to the Facebook global group of the Labyrinth Society. I will begin with a summary of the events, our survey, and the places and images that I've heard from. And then at the end of the second half of the webinar, we will invite you to share any experiences, reflections, photos, or videos of your own. So this was the 10th annual World Labyrinth Day, which is very exciting. And it is half as old as the Labyrinth Society itself, which is celebrating 20 years. And so we were really astounded by the amount of people and places that participated this year. From my understanding, this was one of the biggest groups and widest participation that we've ever had. Let me see if I can get my slideshow going. Okay, great. So we had over 5,200 people participate in over 35 different countries. We had 267 responses to our Google survey. If you go to the Labyrinth Society website and click on World Labyrinth Day, there's a link to the survey if you have not filled it out. And it's an opportunity to say where you are participating, how many people participated, and other details about your event, whether or not you are walking the labyrinth, leading a workshop, tracing a finger labyrinth, creating a labyrinth, and other things. So based on that survey and those responses, we estimated 5,200 people, and we collected 35 different countries around the world. And then I created this global map that shows all the locations of the people that filled out the survey. So it's really exciting to see more participation in South America, especially this year, and wider participation in Eastern Europe and Russia again. Also as far north as Sweden, northern Sweden. And yeah, so even French Polynesia, there were a number of countries that participated for the first time. My list includes Argentina, Armenia, Aruba, Australia, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Croatia, Ecuador, England, France, French Polynesia, Germany, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Lithuania, Malta, Mexico, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Peru, Poland, Romania, Russia, Scotland, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Uruguay, and the USA. So I am Lars Howlett, and I'm the coordinator for World Labyrinth Day these last 5 years. And when I began as coordinator, I began this Google survey to get a sense of where participation is. And we've never had more than 30 countries participate before, so this is very exciting to be spreading the event into more geographic diversity. And again, you can see the most participation was in the United States, and then closely followed by Canada, Europe, Australia, and South America, and a little bit of Africa. So these are some of the images that I found online on social media, mostly on the Labyrinth Society Facebook group. And I didn't have an opportunity to download every single image, because also I was blown away by the number of images that were shared. This is a sampling of what I found, some of the most interesting images, also different places, interesting events, and I tried to create a broad representation of the events that took place. So this is in Asbury, New Jersey, Augustine, Florida. If you look at the very top of the screen, you should be able to see the city, country, and name of the person who posted the image. This is Bandon Beach, Oregon, with Denny Dyke of Circles in the Sand, one of his Dreamfield labyrinths. Really spectacular. This is in Boston, Massachusetts at the Armenia Heritage Park. Beautiful permanent labyrinth there that always hosts an incredible event every year. This is in Brazil. You can see participants walking a labyrinth with their finger on a clipboard. And this was a workshop with Maurice dos Santos Gonçalves. And she may be joining us later today on the webinar to share her experience. It's just really heartwarming to see the image of the World Labyrinth Day logo in different languages. This is the poster for that event in Portuguese. And this is in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where you can see a really interesting hedge labyrinth that was a site for World Labyrinth Day. Also, Ana Inés de Arju hosted walks in Buenos Aires. This is on a Chart labyrinth. You can see really well attended. This is from the same walk. That's Anna there, and the third from the left with the chime. This is in California. So this is a groundbreaking ceremony for a new labyrinth that will be created in Palm Springs. So very exciting for them to set the intention for their labyrinth that is yet to be built on World Labyrinth Day, and a good example of another way to celebrate and join in the energy of World Labyrinth Day by doing a groundbreaking ceremony for a labyrinth project. Others held fundraisers. Jill Geoffrion shared this image from Chartres, France. The Chartres labyrinth itself was unavailable for walking, unfortunately, but this is the canvas labyrinth that was walked on World Labyrinth Day. Here is a interesting, beautiful poster. Here we are in New Jersey. Again, a very popular walk. It's incredible to see the number of people that participated in some of these events. Corvaro, Italy, where it was raining, unfortunately. But this year, actually, it seemed like there was the least amount of rain that we've seen on World Labyrinth Day. This is in Croatia, a finger labyrinth. Someone was on traveling, Anita Puknat, and she walked her finger labyrinth because she was away from her normal home and did not have a physical labyrinth to walk. Devon, England, really neat, carrying the prayer flags together on the labyrinth. East Alstead, New Hampshire, really incredible wood labyrinth. You know, one of the great things about World Labyrinth Day is to see such a variety of people and labyrinth designs and labyrinth materials and settings, and you really get a sense of the many different ways labyrinths can be created. And this was a really great story from Alison Rainbow in England, who created this temporary labyrinth, but when they first walked it, it was a maze and it had dead ends. So everybody was on Google and searching and trying to work together to find a way to make this into a labyrinth. And by moving a couple of stones and the ribbon, they actually ended up with a brand new, unique labyrinth design that had never been seen before. So they were very excited to have given birth to this original design by accident through trial and error on building their own labyrinth. This is in Florida, a new labyrinth down there. French Polynesia, very exciting labyrinth there, a family walking it together. Hungary. Also, Szabo Edit said that this was the first labyrinth that she had built, a temporary labyrinth. So again, many people building a labyrinth for the first time. John Ritter in Indiana said that World Labyrinth Day is a great day for service, and he spent some time weeding a labyrinth and freshening up labyrinths, and people seem to respond to that idea of adopting a labyrinth on World Labyrinth Day and cleaning it up. This is also in Indiana, photograph by Lisa Boyles of a labyrinth created with flowers, dedicated to Martin Luther King. This is the same labyrinth image by Warren Lynn from above. Here, Tony Christie and Fionnuala in Ireland on World Labyrinth Day, sending their love. Kinstone, Wisconsin. Christine Beck always hosts a fabulous event there every year on a beautiful labyrinth in, Wisconsin. This is in Lima, Peru. So again, last year I didn't have any responses from South America, and this year we had 6 or 7 different responses, and you can see what a great group of people participating in World Labyrinth Day there. Here we are in Maino, Italy, another temporary labyrinth you can see. So wonderful to see so many temporary labyrinths created using just basic materials. Simply, this is from Malta. You can see someone in prayer in the center of a canvas labyrinth. Also in Malta, a finger labyrinth made from seashells and stones by Maria Teresa Portelli. Here is in Melbourne, Florida, a labyrinth with a stone peace sign in the center. Minnesota, Canada, the Netherlands, New Zealand. This is a half-built labyrinth, so the labyrinth is being constructed and is not complete, but it was complete enough to be able to walk it on World Labyrinth Day. This is from New Jersey. Wild Labyrinth submitted by Diane Terry Kaner. Norway. Canada, again, you can see pretty much beautiful weather almost everywhere. Again, back in Oregon on Bandon Beach, Queensland, Australia. Quito, Ecuador, a canvas labyrinth. Ruma, Illinois, you can see finger labyrinths available for people to use. Russia, this is, I think, the 2nd or 3rd year that Sergei Strikalov has participated, and always with a really great group and an incredible site with, 5 or 6 different stone labyrinths to walk. Many different designs. Looks like an incredible place to visit and spend World Labyrinth Day. Ruta in Lithuania had a gong master who's walking the labyrinth there, and Ruta in white facilitating the walk. Here she is at the entrance to her labyrinth with the participants. Again in Lithuania. Back to Ecuador, this is on the beach. Some people, like in Ecuador, they had the labyrinth in Quito, in the capital, and then they moved it to the beach and had 2 walks that day. Sheffield, England, again, a very simple labyrinth made, but effective, for walking. Australia, in Shepparton by Lisa Shortridge. South Africa, This labyrinth had a concert in the center. That's a giant stage in the center of the labyrinth where people could listen to rock music in the center. And there was also a gin tasting. Incredible setting for a labyrinth. Oh yeah, here's the flyer at the Renew Retreat Center. Walk as one on World Labyrinth Day with a touch of gin mischief too. Here's an article also from South Africa with Laverne Montagne about World Labyrinth Day in the local newspaper there. Here is a sand labyrinth in Spain by Christine Coveney. Diana Ing in Surrey, Canada, one of her local labyrinths. Sweden, this is our farmost northern World Labyrinth Day walk at a museum to goddesses and their outdoor labyrinth there. Switzerland, Bruno participating again this year with more people. Last year, I think it was just the two of them, and now we see there's 7, so they're building. Tasmania, Mark Healy created this labyrinth. You see, we're using a natural, looks like eucalyptus leaves and flowers. Uruguay, walking a canvas, small sharp canvas labyrinth. Vancouver, Canada, children running a garden labyrinth. Poland, Sylvia Hanf shared this image. They were having a yoga training, and the very last day of the yoga training was the World Labyrinth Day. So they had a walk on the last day of their yoga training in celebration of World Labyrinth Day. Wisconsin, and this, is touching. She's there by herself, but many people said that even being alone and walking the labyrinth, they felt the energy and the connectedness with all the other people. And you can see, even though maybe you would be disappointed to show up at a labyrinth and be the only one there for World Labyrinth Day, that by looking at this slideshow, you see incredible how you are sharing this experience, and it's not just a solo walk. So Donna Mulhern at Woodford, Australia, one of her beautiful labyrinths. Daphne Arlman in Amsterdam, a temporary labyrinth in the shape of a heart. And that is it. So that was a collection of images that I found on Facebook, and also that people have emailed me, and I will be creating a slideshow of images to post on YouTube and online. So if you have more images that you would like to share, you can email them to wld@labyrinthsociety.org. And it looks like we have about 10 people with us. So if somebody would like to share a story or an experience, I'm going to invite people to join the circle. Let's see, I will promote you all to panelists. Hello, Anel. Hello, Marla. Hello, Maurice from Brazil. Michelle, I think, from Armenia. Lucy. And Sadell. D. Clark. So now we are live. Let me get my headphone in. We are going to be posting this video on, well, we're live on Facebook, and we'll also be posting this video on YouTube. So please be aware, if you are sharing your video, image, story, that this is something that will be made, available to everybody. So sharing, of course, is optional, like it should be in any Labyrinth event exercise. So I welcome you all. If someone would like to raise their hand, I would open up the microphone and floor to you so you can share your experience. And I can even allow you to share your screen. If you have images or video on your computer that you would like to share your computer screen with us, then that is welcome as well. Otherwise, you can share your story personally with us. So is there anybody that would like to share? Karen? Okay, let me unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. You can hear me. Good. So we have a Baltic wheel labyrinth at my co-housing community, and one of my neighbors built the labyrinth in a wooded area, so it's outside, and it's actually on the Worldwide Labyrinth Locator.
Great.
Katya, who built it, now often refers people to me because I'm there a lot more often than she is. And people have gotten to know me, you know, as someone, they've begun to associate labyrinths with me. So like, so I offered in our community a chance to walk the labyrinth with me at 1 o'clock on World Labyrinth Day, and several people showed up, and I was very delighted to talk to them and share some history of the labyrinth. 3 women came in, and so, you know, I let them know that there's no wrong way to walk the labyrinth, walk at your own pace, and and then kind of like acknowledge whatever insight or kind of like, you know, how you feel at the center. And what I found very interesting is that when they got to the center, they didn't quite know what to do, and somehow I guess I thought that it was intuitive, you know, to kind of like walk around, and you know, I've seen labyrinth walks where not much is explained about what to do at the center. So I walked to the center, I followed them in, and I said, well, okay, do you want me to offer like a prayer of gratitude? And they said yes, so I did. And so I offered a prayer of the 4 elements and the 4 directions, and they were happy with it and came out and thanked me. And, you know, it felt good to walk in community with people who care about the labyrinth. So we were a small but mighty group, and it was a lovely experience because a beautiful day. The weather cooperated. It was so nice and warm. It was perfect.
Oh, great. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I think it's always good to go with your intuition, and you did a good balance of giving people space to have their own experience and let it unfold organically. But then when you saw that it needed a little bit of leadership, I think that was great to create the offering, and sounds like it really worked out well.
Yeah. Thanks, Lars.
All right. Well, thank you. Karen. Okay, would someone else like to share? If you could raise your D. Okay, let me unmute you. Spotlight you. There you go.
I'll try to be quick. My computer's making some noise. I just wanted to say I was at the Armenian Heritage Park in Boston, and it's quite a neat experience to walk in that setting. It's right in the middle of everything. It's right in the middle of an intersection, but it's the middle of the Boston Greenway. There's a lot of foot traffic. So there were all the people who knew that this event was going on, and were also going to, after the walk, view the new configuration of the abstract sculpture next to the labyrinth. They reconfigure it every year. But then there were all the people just sort of passing by and saw that we were doing something, so then they got curious and came to see what it was all about. And there were a good number of people there. So, very nice experience.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've seen lots of images from the Armenian Heritage Park, and always looks like a big crowd, but I've never been there myself. So it's great to hear your firsthand experience. Did they lead any particular intention or offering for World Labyrinth Day, or was it an open walk?
There was an introduction, and there's a little piece about the history of labyrinths, I think, and there, you know, possibly was a little more that could have been done to help with facilitation for new walkers. But it wasn't any specific ritual or anything. It was fairly open to whatever each person brought to the labyrinth, you know.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I'll open the floor. Let's see. Oh, I see a video. Is this you, Dee?
No.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Ah, yes.
Hi,
Is
Lars.
this Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this was half an hour before we start the walk in Armenia. And as you can see, the weather was not really good. But then we had something very interesting happening there. Is that, okay, let me show you this.
Can other people see the screen?
So we it's the first time we participate because this labyrinth, which is a replica of the Chartres Labyrinth, was finished last September. And now we have a group of youth and also other people who are not so young, who are discovering the labyrinth. And now the labyrinth is available for everyone every Saturdays. And later, and also, of course, for groups who want to come, or even individuals, they can call and just come. So the idea also was to have the choir of Radio Mariam, who was participating, and we've been walking the labyrinth together with the choir, and it was, of course, dedicated to peace, which is very important for Armenia, because unfortunately we're still having big troubles. So they all prayed for peace, and they sang. Can you hear the song?
Yes.
Anyway, you can see this on YouTube.
Yes, this is really inspiring event, and you also had the live video stream so people could walk and watch on the Facebook group, which really appreciated that. And I could see that it was raining very hard in the morning, and then the sun seemed to clear just in time for your walk.
So joking, I was telling them 1 hour ago, I told them, don't worry, we have a deal with up there, and they will help us. And finally, this is what happened. And there was such a big, how can we say? I'm sorry, my English is not that good. Huh?
No,
there was a really intense feeling among the people. And after the walk, there were quite, maybe not a lot, but quite many people who their tears on their coming out, because it was very, very strong. So I was happy because there was, we just talked to neighbors, to those young people who are attending our training center, and people from the radio. And okay, this is Amazing Grace in Armenian, because they also the words. So everyone was very happy because we could mix young people and elder people, and we had some women, all women from villages around here. When they heard that we were praying for peace, they came because their children are on the front. And unfortunately, every week we have some of our young people who are being killed. So that's why it has a real meaning for everyone in Armenia. So you can just take a look at this video, start at minute 56, in order not to lose too much time.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it. So I'm sure we will participate again next year.
Well, this is very touching and spectacular.
We organized in the morning, we had a very interesting conference made by a local historian. And so he made the first conference on the history of Labyrinth. And we have the second conference the weekend of 16th of June. And so we'll have, I think, more people coming to discover the Labyrinth.
Wow. And it looks like a beautiful labyrinth. So congratulations on this, and what an offering.
It was made with local stones and made by local stone masters. And it's funny because when they started this, they just took this as a normal job. But when they just started to draw the labyrinth, it was just crazy what happened, because they changed completely themselves. And you know, these guys, stone masters, are, let's say, rude people, you know. They are not, poetry is not their main topic, let's say. And when we saw how they were working, later on, it was crazy. And two of them were there, of course. And if you want, I can show you a small video on how we built this labyrinth. Is it possible?
Sure, if it's...
I don't want to take too much time from everyone.
Or maybe we'll come back and see.
Okay, so what I will do is that I will, we are finishing a website now, and it will be on the website. So I'll send you the link like this, you can enjoy. Because I don't want to take too much of the time.
Yeah, and I'm sorry we didn't have any photos from this walk in the slideshow, because I only have the video link. So do you have still images you could send me?
Of course,
Great.
I will send you.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, wonderful.
That is it.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Our pleasure. Okay, I don't know.
I don't see anyone else raising their hand or wishing to share. So I just want to close the circle and say thank you very much for participating in our report back from World Labyrinth Day. We had a really wonderful event this year. It was really one of the best ever. And it's really heartwarming to see so many people walking in so many different places and participating in so many different ways. Thank you for joining us here on the session today. And World Labyrinth Day is celebrated on the first Saturday of May every year. So mark your calendars for next year. And we hope to see you online and maybe at the annual gathering of the Labyrinth Society in Chicago, Illinois this fall. We are gathering physically in October. So World Labyrinth Day is our global event where anyone can participate anywhere all over the world. And then in the fall, we have our physical event where we gather together in one place. So we hope you can be there with us, and if not, then in spirit, and we will try to share images and video on the Facebook group and our website as well. So thank you very much, and have a great day and rest of the week. Bye-bye.